All right, so I'm going to, I put a link in the chat that I'm going to want you to use eventually. You don't have to, actually, yes, you do have to open it now and then I'll talk you through. So we're going to work together and maybe you'll learn to use a new platform that you have not used before. So actually, let me start off in a kind of presenter mode, which I can.
1 minute.
Yeah.
We usually start with the introduction of the speaker and all of that.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
Are we doing that? Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So you'll tell me start or no?
Yeah. No, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm about to start. Hello, guys. Welcome to this, what I know is going to be a really exciting play shop combining design and law to co-create new futures. And we have with us here today Dr. Lesley and Noel, who is a Trinidadian design educator based in New Orleans, where she teaches at Tulane University, and she practices design through emancipatory, critical, and anti-hegemonic lenses, focusing on equity and social justice. And so, yeah, welcome, Lesley. We are excited to do this play shop with you and see how we can use some of these principles from the design thinking world to tackle some of the wicked problems that we in the Future Law Institute are looking to address. So, yeah, welcome and thanks.
Thank you. And I see some people are joining us. Let's see. So we may have to put the link in again. I'll put the link again.
Don't worry about it, I'll do it.
Okay, good. All right, so good morning. Well, good morning for me. I don't actually know what time of day, what greeting to use for everybody else, but good morning for me. Good morning. And it's been an exciting few days in this workshop. I've been kind of popping in and out. My schedule is kind of hectic, so I didn't attend as much as I wanted to. But I was listening to some keywords throughout the conference that I heard, where I heard some overlaps between some of our interests in design. And I thought that this play shop could be a good place for us to, again, combine some of these interests. So this session has the same title as the one I did on Sunday, Combining Design and Law to Co-Create New Futures. And I want to start with a little activity. Where in the world are you, or where would you love to be? You know, we started off with some nice conversation earlier on. This activity is so that we could figure out where people are, and it's also so that you could start to use this mural, which is the platform that I'm using. And this is the place for us to break the mural, you know, for us to mess it up and all of that. And actually we can mess it up throughout, but I just wanted to get people to actively be involved at the start. So the first activity I'm asking you to do is to take a push pin. I actually have to come out of presenter mode. Take a push pin and just drag it to wherever you are or wherever you want to be. So I actually put two already, one for Trinidad and one for New Orleans. Now I'm going to put one for Bahia, where I would like to be. And then I'm also going to change the color. That's not a good color. Let me try another color. And so if you could do that, then it's your little test so that, yeah, to start being able to use the mural.
I lost you, sorry. Drops out sometimes.
Anybody having trouble?
It's unstable, sorry, yes.
Oh, my internet maybe. Okay. So I'm just asking you to pull a push pin and just pull it to anywhere on the mural. and tell us where, afterwards you'll tell us where you'd like to
Gripping.
be. So, is it pulling?
Mine's not
Yes.
grabbing it.
All right, I see Alyssa. I see Lesley or Leslie Ann.
Mine's not grabbing yet for some reason.
It's not grabbing it.
No, sorry.
I don't actually
Don't know
see
why
your
it's not
cursor.
grabbing.
Where is it?
Can you see here? Oh, am I on mute? No.
No, I hear you.
You can see. You can hear me. Okay.
Yes.
So for some reason, it's not gripping. I
It's
would
not
put
gripping.
it down here where I'm quite sort of happy to be by
Okay.
the E down here. So I can't grab it though. It won't participate.
So you could direct me to put it, I think.
Thank you. Yes.
Australia's
okay,
fine?
thank you. Yes, over on the east coast, over this side, to the right. Sydney is on the
to the
other
right.
side. And down a bit, down. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Down
Okay.
a little bit
Good.
further. Okay,
Further
that's
down.
nice. That's Byron Bay. That's lovely. I love that.
Okay.
Changes there.
So this is a little
lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
Thank you.
fair. Yeah, I realized I needed to click on the right-hand actual title. Where do you want to be? And only then did your map come up. Before that,
Oh,
Fiona,
okay.
you may be having the same experience.
Where
that
in
you
the
can
world?
see.
That,
Yeah,
that's it. Probably that was it. Hang on.
Ah.
Oh, thank you. Double click.
You're
full
welcome.
screen.
You want to try again, Fiona?
I
I'm a
will.
bit
Thank you.
challenged too.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. You're moving now. Yay.
No, that's someone else. That's Margaret. No,
Yes.
not me. But thank you for putting it where I'd like to be.
Oh, that's Margaret. Right.
Byron Bay is
Okay.
lovely. Yes, don't worry.
Okay.
There's a few places I love to be, but that's when I'm in and I'm happy here at the moment.
Okay. And we have a few little exercises.
Thank you.
And if you
Hope
if
I
you
can
are
join
having, sometimes people's devices don't connect, and then we just figure out, this just helps us to know, okay, who might are you hearing me? I'm getting a message. You're hearing me,
Yes,
okay.
we're
Yes,
hearing you.
okay, yes. This just helps us work out some kinks, and then our chat box is also going to be a good place for us to share things. Okay, so if this is to make you a little bit independent, but if you can't get this, then maybe you will be, you'll have to do stuff via the chat box. All right, so we have some people, so let's just go around the room. We have a lot of pins on Trinidad. So Margaret, where did you put your pin?
I put my pin in Trinidad and Tobago. I haven't been there since March, and that's where I'd love to be.
Yes, ditto. I haven't been there since February, and I wouldn't mind being there now. Svea? She's just putting on her headphones, so maybe, yes. Svea?
Hi, I forget that my sound is not great. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
It should connect now. Any minute.
Yes, we're hearing you.
There we go. Hi, I'm in Cape Town in South Africa. And where I would love to be is in Basel in Switzerland, visiting my 86-year-old uncle who I have not been able to visit as scheduled since we went into lockdown in March, and that does not please me.
Oh, yes, I know. Okay, and as people come into the waiting room, we'll have to just come into the room. We'll just keep sharing the link so that they could see it. Anyone else wants to share? I see Jakub. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly. And Lesley Ann.
My pin is in the UK where I am now, but I, similarly to you guys, want to be in Trinidad. Haven't been back home in 2 years.
The real Trini line here.
Yes. And Alyssa, I suppose is your pin in Trinidad as well, Alyssa, or is it somewhere else?
Alyssa, you're on mute.
I'm on mute?
No, I am. I'm talking
Alyssa.
away. Yeah.
Okay.
My pin is in Trinidad. I'm happy and grateful that I'm here. And when it's safe to travel, my pin is going to be all over. Attached to a moving backpack.
Oh, that's good. Yes, and that experience will never be the same, I'm sure. All right, so I'm going to take us down to another little activity again to help us understand how to use this mural. So I may change the instructions a little bit, but what I'm trying to get you to do in this activity is just get familiar with the whole post-it note idea. So you take a post-it note and you can write on it. And then I also want you to create a new post-it note just by double-clicking next to one. So there are two ways of creating post-it notes. You can just click on the board, or to the left of the screen, you'll see a square with a little triangle in it. In the gray toolbar, you can pull, let's see, you can pull a post-it note and put it on the board like that, but that's a little bit tedious. I don't like to work in that way. So I just like to click on the board and click twice, and then you'll get a post-it note and you can put your ideas down, okay? And because everyone is gonna have some nice ideas, we wanna know how to put some post-it notes down. So either you can claim a post-it note that is already on the board, and just, you can put your name, you can just say hi, anything you want to say, or I say either, but actually I want you to do the two things. Claim a post-it note and type something, and then also click twice on the board and just create a post-it note. And it will, when you do that, it will normally create the post-it note that looks like the one next to it. It'll just replicate that post-it note. And if you're having any challenges, any trouble, you can let me know. And we can be messy.
How do we delete a post-it note?
Your delete button should work, or if not, you can right click and you'll get a bar, and at the bottom of the bar, let me see, there's a delete. But you should,
not really coming up for me like that.
It's not. Yeah, either your delete or backspace button. Nope. Well, we don't delete anything. In design, I'm sure in your art class and in secondary school, I'm sure your art teacher said no drawing pen so that you don't erase or stuff like that, right? And then another little tip, if you want to move around the board, you can hold the space bar down. And then you can, I don't know if you're on a mouse or a mouse pad, you can hold the space bar down and you can actually, your icon will turn into a hand and you can drag and move around. So if you got nothing else from this presentation, now you'll be mural experts and you can take this forward in what you do. So you can drag the Post-its around. But if you want to actually drag the entire board around, you hold down the space bar while you're dragging. And so this is just, again, for us to get some, it's like our driving manual to start. And so we could go back into the presentation. I'll go back into presentation mode.
Lesley, I'm afraid to say I failed. I'm not finding anything about how to get a Post-it note to move anywhere. I'm on a Mac.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't see, I've fiddled and clicked and don't get it.
So have you tried, you can see my cursor here, my little arrow, next to San Fernando.
Yep.
What about if you come next to me and just click twice? Let's see. Oops.
No. Hang on.
No.
Oh, then I can do it. If I right click.
If you right click, let's see. Oh yes, yeah. Add sticky note.
And then I need to right click again, and then I can edit. I get a pop-up box.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
All right, good. Okay, because we need to be able to add sticky notes. Now, the other way that we work, because as I said, sometimes I have people who, for whatever reason, maybe because of their tech, can't add notes. The other way to add information would be to put it into the chat box, and then someone else is going to add it to the mural for us, and that's fine. That's an acceptable way of working. Okay. All right, so I want to bring us, let me come to our presentation. So, right, we talked about where do we want to go, and I'm going to do a little bit of a recap of the presentation from Sunday. These are literally some of the slides from Sunday, where what are we doing? We're using design thinking to help us work collaboratively around a problem that we've chosen, right? And so design thinking uses methods from design, disciplines, social sciences, development studies, and more to address complex social issues. And there isn't just one approach to doing design thinking, but it's always informed by users and context. And design thinking is a collaborative, human-centered approach to creating innovation and social change. And sometimes there is some tension between design thinking and other disciplines because we focus very often on like one human or three humans or something like that to understand issues. And then because we focus on human, and you know, some people have moved away from human-centered design to what is called life-centered design or other ways of doing design. And so sometimes there's a bit of a tension there, you know, where people will say, okay, why are we focusing on this one individual? And how did we choose to focus on this one individual? And these are some of the questions involved in design thinking, okay? And so I'm aware of these questions and we'll bring them in here as well. As I mentioned on Sunday, I'm interested in critical utopian action research, where I'm looking at, I'm asking people to say collectively in the groups that I'm in, what's wrong, where do we want to go, and how can our dreams become reality? Okay. And then the thing about design is that we're very focused on action. So we're not just saying, we're not stopping at where do we want to go. We are literally then designing something that's going to help our dreams become reality, right? So critical utopian action research is a framework that it is from Scandinavia, but I'm not sure if it's from Sweden or Norway. But it's a participatory action research method, and then I've brought it into design. And what I'm asking everyone to do and be in this workshop is curious, collaborative, creative, focus on change, responsive, iterative, empathetic, and I want us to be active, okay? The funny thing about design sprints, again, which can be frustrating, is that your time is going to be really short. I'm going to give you like 2 minutes to come up with an idea, or 5 minutes or 7 minutes or something like that. And we need to just do, right? And it's because in design, because we're focused on action, we do something, and then after we reflect on this thing that we've done, and then we can continue to work on it because it's done, right? But at least there's something. Very quick design process, understand, design, test. And in this workshop, we're trying to see how can we bring legal practitioners and designers and community partners together to create some social change. And then maybe our, you know, instead of, as a designer, I'm often focused on objects and products. But when I work with other specialists, the designs go into different places. So maybe as people with a legal background, maybe our solutions will be policies and laws and stuff like that, that I would normally focus on. And so I end off this little presentation with this quote by Adrienne Marie Brown. When I wondered if imagination could be necessary for revolution and transformation, you said yes. You said our dreams and vision matter. they are the way we make oppression temporary. Because, sometimes people ask, okay, why are we doing this creative stuff to make law or policy, or, they ask me this because my workshops are normally a lot of fun, a lot of music, food, and we're walking around the place and all that. And they're like, why are you trying to do this imaginative stuff to design policy or social solutions? Or because I'm trying to help create space, and not just me, a lot of designers, we have to have some kind of vision. We have to dream. We have to, for us to get to solutions, we need some imagination to get to these solutions. So I'm bringing us now to our design area, first area of discussion for today, right? Which is around justice. And I'm actually going to focus here a little bit. And I'm a little self-conscious speaking with people from the legal background, because someone might say, no, that's not what justice is. But I have this deck of cards which brings in, introduces people to a lot of little theory and then a question. So this card now is about justice. What is justice? Justice is fairness in the way that people are treated. And so we can think about social justice, racial justice, climate justice, and we can attach justice to many other things, housing justice. And my challenge to designers is, how can you use your design concept to advance an agenda of justice? And then in the classes that I teach, I very often have my students look at the Sustainable Development Goals and reflect on, where are we not meeting these goals? And I live in the United States, but I live in a city where these goals are not met. Okay, I live in New Orleans, which I had a discussion with a social scientist the other day. New Orleans is in the global South, even though it is in the global North. It's a city where we have a lot of poverty, a lot of issues with health equity or health justice, education equity, gender, maybe not gender. Water is definitely a problem, so we reflect on these at the start of the class, because we're trying to figure out, okay, where are we trying to get to? Where do we have to make some change for life to be better in the future for people? And I pulled out some specific justice terms based on some of the sessions that I was listening to. Racial justice is not in the Sustainable Development Goals, and it is a big issue, certainly where I am in the States. Climate justice, housing justice, migration justice, labor justice, health justice. And then I put in some other little things that I heard. I caught a little bit of, yes, education justice. So I'm going to add, and if anyone else wants to add one of the justice issues, so as a reminder, to add to this, you just click twice. And I can add from the chat, or if you would like to add sticky notes, any other big themes that you heard during the workshop that you want to add to this section, all right? And we may have to post the link to the mural again, because I think someone just came in. And I'm seeing somebody speaking, but you're on mute. Or maybe you're not speaking. Any other, yes.
Animal justice, animal and sentient, forest justice and animal justice. Animals don't have a voice to be protected. I think there should be some animal justice.
And you said sentient.
Yes,
justice.
Sentient creatures, yes.
What would that be?
Sentience or living.
All
creatures.
Beings. Okay,
yes. All
yes.
beings. Yes,
and then you said forest.
Yes. And I believe very strongly human rights, human right or justice is our right for all people to safe water.
Yes.
It must never be privatized ever. It's very dangerous to privatize water.
Yes.
So I have tremendous problems.
All right.
You know, South Africa's had problems with that water to Johannesburg.
Yes.
Mm.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you now up to another part of the mural where, so I told you I use critical utopia and action research. So I'm taking us to utopia. And actually I was supposed to put on, sometimes I'll put on like fancy glasses and space suits and stuff like that. I forgot to do that this morning. But my question is, where do we want to be in 2050? Okay, so think about one or two of the justice issues that we just talked about, and think about where do we want to be in 30 years from now, in 2050. Okay, and what you'll do is you can, if you click on any of these post-its, you can write in something about where do we want to be in terms of racial justice or housing justice, or, you know, like I put in something here where I would like more equitable access to education all around the world. So here's a space for you to dream about where we're going to be in 2050 and what's going to be better. Now, if you can't put in your post-it note, you can put it in the chat and then I'll put it on the board for you, or anyone will put it on the board for you. And so we're going to do this just for a few seconds. Think about where we want to be in 2050. So if you're having internet challenges, you can put it in the chat and then we'll put it on the board for you. What's our 2050 going to be like? It's going to be so fantastic because all of these challenges are going to be gone. And I'm going to set a little timer to do this. I'm just going to give you 2 minutes to think. So we have three points. I see fourth and fifth coming up. Actually, I'm going to put on some music for thinking. Okay, that's our 1 minute thinking song. So anytime I want to give you 1 minute, actually I have to stop. Hold on, no, don't start the next song. Okay, so so let's see, we have 12 seconds left, and then I will read some of what we put in. Okay. And I'm gonna show off a funny thing of mural. We'll just throw some little confetti down because we did that, yay. All right, so let's see what people said, where we're gonna be in 2050. So corporations are prevented by law from creating environmental damage. Corporations must account for human and social and environmental costs. Citizens have access to all material government information. Citizens participate in democratic decision-making processes. Justice and law are aligned. Children and young people are routinely part of revising and generating laws and regulations and policies. I like that one. Is there anything over there? No. Okay. All right. So now let's go to this little red spot here. What are the things, where are our red lights? What are the things that are holding us back from achieving some of these? Oh, I just saw Fiona put some others. Free education for all people. So I'll add that while I'm asking everyone to think about what are some of the things that are holding us back in 2050 from attaining these, some of these things that we want, okay? And we can be specific about what are these things that are holding us back? Is it somehow related to people? Is it somehow related to policy? Is it just life, right? And so you click on one of the red dots or double click on it, and we can be all messy, right? What are the things that are holding us back? And also you can look at some of the things that other people have put up here. You don't only have to focus on what you put up there. Have a look at what other people put up and see if there are other things that are holding us back in your view. So I'm gonna add some of what Fiona said in the chat to the green buttons while you all think about these things that are holding us back. And if you want some inspiration about what is holding us back, you can have a look at some of the new things that I'm adding from the chat. Some of these are really lovely, Fiona. You know, what's holding us back from free health? What's holding us back from the sharing economy, from democratic decision making? When you hear this, you know you have 1 minute left. All right, let's have a look at what we're saying. So this is like actually you're experiencing here. One of the reasons that people enjoy these type of design thinking workshops is that um, I when I do these workshops, I actually do research as well in health, and we bring together a lot of different people into the room, and then we're doing it virtually now, and then it means that we can get a lot of ideas in a very short space of time. And then we can back up these ideas with additional research afterwards. But because we have all of these different perspectives in the room, it means that we can get a pulse on how people are thinking, and then we can go and do additional research, as I said. So I'm going to read off some of the things. You can continue adding, but what are some of the things that are holding us back? People failing to listen. 2 ears and 1 month for 1 mouth for a good reason. that's kind of funny and true. Market-driven decision-making, algorithms that are not transparent, rigid systems, imagination is not as accepted as a way to generate science and civil society fabric, opportunities and forums for citizens to imagine and reflect together. Collaboration isn't so easy, competition as priority, voting once every 4 years, lack of better representation of different communities, a lack of willingness to experiment, lack of political will. We have to act, not simply to think. I am in that camp. And then I'm going to read from Fiona's post. Lack of knowledge. People's worldviews are influenced by what they read and hear and are dominated by traditional sources and social media that is not verified. Fog of information. And I'm just copying some of them and putting them on Post-its. All people have a part of the life puzzle. That's, Fiona, you're very poetic. But you are a writer, yes? So, okay. Okay, so this was the critical utopia part of it, where we were trying to think of the utopias, where do we want to be? Now, obviously, we wouldn't normally do this in 10 minutes. We might take longer than this on this section. And then what's holding us back? That's a bit of the critique. So we are being critical of the present when we're talking about the things that are holding us back. And so generally, we would tend to look at these things that are holding us back and say, well, okay, maybe that's where we need to be creating some solutions so that we can move towards what it is where we want to go, okay? So I want to know, how are people feeling? Are they confident to go into breakout rooms for a few minutes to talk? I think if people are confident, then we can do 2 breakout rooms where I'm asking you to choose one issue that is holding us back. And we start to think about some of the sub-issues related to that. So we're gonna chat in the breakout rooms for just about 4 or 5 minutes, where you're gonna try to find like 3 sub-issues at least of one of the bullets, one of the points in this red section. So we'll have 2 groups, and in these 2 groups, you're gonna claim one of these sections, or you'll put your points in the chat, but we won't all be able to see it in the chat. You'll have to copy it and bring it back. But I'm hoping then you're gonna choose one of these issues. You could actually drag it over once you decide which one it is. And then you're going to choose like 3 sub issues, because this is the way that we work in design, where we're drilling down until we focus on one thing. Because we started off with this huge, wicked problem of justice. but we have to focus and focus and focus until we find one actionable area of justice that we're going to do something about. Okay. And then how we work as designers is that after we've done something there with that one thing that we focus on, then we shift to something else. And that's how we break up these wicked problems that we're all working with. So Alyssa, you could send us to, wait, before we send, anybody has any questions on what you're discussing in the rooms? You're choosing one thing and then you're finding maybe like 3 other smaller issues related to that one thing. And don't overthink it. You could just go through and say, well, you know what, I'm interested in X. And then we're only going to give you like, maybe I'm giving you even less time now, maybe 3 minutes in the breakout rooms where you're going to think of these sub points. So Alyssa, you could send people to the rooms.
This is speed design in action.
Yes, yes, it is. And actually, I'm not going to join a room, or should I? I don't think I'm going to join. So you could send everyone else, yeah.
You were added to a room automatically, but I mean, you just don't accept the invitation. Lesley.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
that's cool.
And I don't know. So if these 2 people haven't joined the rooms still have people, yes?
Rooms still have people. Let me move people.
Well, you can leave it as it is. I just wanted to make sure that because I know that
I
sometimes
have a room with 1 person.
No.
Ilza, would you like to join room 2? You just accept the invitation that's on your screen.
How many rooms do we have?
2.
Okay.
But I have a room that Marina is in a room by herself.
Oh, that's not good.
No, and I think that happened to Marina yesterday. You want to jump in there with her?
Yeah, you could put me in that one.
Okay. Yeah, just join. Just accept the.
I don't. Let's see. I don't. Okay, I could use the breakout menu.
In progress.
Okay, I'm back.
Awesome.
And we're going to break up that group one that is so big.
That was really interesting.
All right, so I want to hear group one. What did you focus on? Anyone from group one, you could share what was your discussion about? And then actually our design process is going to get even faster in 2 minutes. You were kicked out in the middle of the conversation. That's how it works in these design sprints, unfortunately.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
So Julia, what were you saying in mid-sentence?
We were talking about collaboration, and we were talking about the need in university to compete, and several people pointed out that they forgive me, I'm dyslexic, so Sphria, yeah, and Fiona was giving some examples, but in the university, one person has decided to just have a rota for who's going to be the main author and include everybody and just make sure that everybody becomes a main author in sequence. And that just gets rid of the whole competition issue, because the new ideas get out there, the quality information gets out there, and you get the input. So I think, please correct me if I've got that wrong or I need to add anything, but competition makes people refuse to collaborate, and we need to work together to get anywhere. So yeah. Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to write exactly what you said there. So competition makes people refuse to collaborate. Great. And my colleague, where did she go?
Lesley Ann,
yes?
Just to add to Julia's thing, it's institutionalized competition.
Yes.
In other, it's not just individuals thing we were talking about. It's when the system is set up to encourage competitive behavior.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get you. Like I am now, so this is my 5th year in the United States, and it's not that we weren't competitive in Trinidad, but it's a different world out here. You know, I think that I worked with people who were a little bit more collaborative, and I would definitely agree with what you're saying about institutionalized competition does make it difficult for people to see the value in collaborating sometimes. And my colleague Marina just joined us back.
Yeah, I had some problems, sorry.
Okay, so Marina, what was the most important, if you look at all of our red bullets down at the bottom, what's the most important one that you want to share with our colleagues?
I think is just how hard it is to break the existing elite structures that are out there.
Yeah.
All right, yes. So, breaking elite structures. I already had it there, but I'm adding it again. So, again, this is a very rapid design process. We actually have, I'm going to start sharing again for a little bit. So we have 2 issues that we can bring across to our next area. So I'm going to take this first one about competition, and I'm going to put it over here. And then this one about breaking elite structures and put it over here. And so what happens next in the design process is that we need an actionable problem statement. And normally, what do we do in human-centered design? And this is sometimes where it becomes difficult to see it on a policy level, because in human-centered design, we do focus on one individual. And we don't always look at all individuals. For example, I put here, our user Zion needs a way to communicate with his friends because his family is following stay-at-home orders. How might we support communication for Zion while at home? Now, some of the ideas that we looked at, we haven't figured out who's the one person we're focusing on, you know, and so I'm actually going to ask in the next 3 minutes or so, or 4 minutes, I'm going to ask you, and our groups are going to shuffle around a little bit so that they're more balanced, right? I'm going to ask you to think about the problem from the point of view of one person instead of all of humanity, right? So we are looking at two problems. Institutionalized competition encourages competitive behavior. And then the other problem is about breaking elite structures. Now, I'm not sure yet how we're going to do this problem statement for the elite structures. And so this is where you might be opening up my mind to a different way of thinking. But what I want to challenge you to do in your groups for a few minutes is see if you could fill in, we'll create a person. I'm just going to put a person's name. One person is Peter, and then the other person is Margaret. Oh, we have a Margaret, so not Margaret. Allison, right? We have an Alyssa, not an Allison. And you see, for us, focusing on the one individual helps us start to uncover some issues that we might lose if we focus on, if we take a more of a bird's eye view perspective. And so maybe I'm going to start filling it in, but in your groups, you're going to see if you could refine the question a little bit. So if I look at this first one, our user Peter needs a way to, the question continues as something about getting around this institutionalized competition. You know, our user Peter needs a way to collaborate with other colleagues or something like that. We're going to focus on the individual level, but our solution is going to be a policy or legal level or something that's going to encourage the collaboration in a different way. And the same thing with Allison. Our user Allison needs a way to thrive despite elite structures or something like that. So I'm going to give you a few minutes in a room. And this is again going to be very fast, maybe about 4 minutes, Alyssa. And then if you could divide the rooms so that they are a little bit more even. And then whichever room Marina's in is going to do the breaking elite structures, and then the other room will do the first question, okay? And so what you're trying to do for me when you go into the room is try to see how you could create a sentence. Don't try to make it perfect, but you can use this as a template. You're going to make a sentence around a problem that we're then going to try to create some solutions around. So I'm going to put you in the rooms for, as I said, about 4 minutes. You're going to go into the rooms, create the problem statement, and then bring you back and we'll hear what you did. Okay, so not a lot of time. And Alyssa, you could launch your rooms.
All righty.
Did Marina join?
I think Marina's internet might be unstable, so
yes,
she's in room 1 now.
Okay, and
yeah, the thing is, people are kind of coming and going, so.
Okay, but
yeah, but it's 3 and 2, and Ilza doesn't seem to be joining rooms. So, yes. But it's okay. Julia and Margaret can All right.
Okay.
So we have about 3.5 minutes for them.
Yeah, that is frustratingly short, I know, for them. We could give them like an extra.
Okay. I mean, that's a design constraint, right? Which is where you get.
Yes. Yes, you get it. Because more time doesn't mean that you're gonna do more work actually.
Exactly.
And maybe I'll say that when we come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's an important point. You know, the constraint itself sometimes allows for something unusual, remarkable. That wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Yes. So what are you up to these days?
I have been working on my thesis for a master's in linguistics for a long while. It's been really challenging, all kinds of stuff. I ran out of money. I was in the Netherlands for a while. Um, it's been really, really, we had a lot of family stuff going on. Your mom knows my dad. So I don't know, I don't think I know your mom. But my father was widowed for the second time.
Really?
Yeah, it's 2 years. Wait, I might be in. Yeah, 2 years in September. Suddenly and unexpectedly, she was driving home from a meeting and had a heart attack at the wheel
Oh
that she didn't
no.
survive. So, mercifully, I had been back and forth between Netherlands and here, and I happened to be here, which
Oh
is
my
why I say I'm
goodness.
deeply, deeply grateful to be in Trinidad,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
Dad had a massive stroke years ago and doesn't drive anymore. So it's been a challenging time, and again, it's the constraints. You can rail against the constraints, or you can really say, okay, this is the situation, and
And I'll move with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I met your brother the other day.
He is the best.
Oh
He
my
is
gosh,
awesome.
yes, he is.
My siblings are incredible. Wait till you meet my
Yes.
sister. My sister studied fashion at.
I met your sister.
Yes.
I know your sister. What your sister's Elise?
Elise, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Listen, I can hang out with them any day, anytime. We have great conversation. It's
That
always
is nice.
Good. Yeah. It's perfect.
Can you send them a message? What's the message I want you to send them? How much time do they have left?
They have about a minute and a half, because it's
okay.
When I launch, they will yeah.
So you could tell them that they should be moving towards finishing up their statement or something like that, just to kind of push them along. But y'all have y'all are like close in age, or you have a bigger gap, or
2 years apart.
Oh, that's good.
All of us. So
yeah.
I'm first, Elise is fourth. So so DK and I are 2 years apart. My father's stroke. We also have a sibling who died. The youngest of us and my father's. So Chris and I were 10 years apart almost to the day. And my father would say in public spaces that was human error. Like, dude, that's not that you can't.
Oh, wow.
2 years. It essentially averages out.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
so there are four of you
alive. Yeah.
Alive?
Yeah.
Who's the fourth? Well, the Kamara, one that I don't know.
Yeah. His name is Kamara. He works in Scotiabank.
Okay.
Yeah, and they are all like DK is a foot taller than I am. Yeah, I'm the pocket-sized edition.
Oh, that's funny.
They have about 15 seconds to wrap. Yeah, so they should be coming back any moment now. 2, 1. There you are.
All right, so you're back, maybe back in mid-sentence.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. Sorry.
So Alyssa and I were just having a chat where we both have design backgrounds. You're also a designer, yes, Alyssa?
I studied linguistics, and I used to run an ammonia plant. So no design.
Okay. But you just spoke from a design perspective, right? Where we were talking about constraints, because people are always like, why do we have so little time? And the little time is a design constraint that's to force you into action, okay? Because actually, if you got more time, you probably wouldn't come up with ideas any faster. Well, you probably wouldn't come up with more ideas. It's just the little bit of time and that crunch makes you think, oh my goodness, I have to do something before I come back into the room. Or maybe not. Maybe you guys are just rebellious. But I would love to hear, and Julia says yes. I would love to hear if you were able to come up with a design sentence, an actionable sentence. Group one? Or maybe who's focusing on Peter? And I'm seeing two things around Peter and nothing around Alison. Julia.
I got a little bit into trouble from Margaret because I wouldn't focus quite on one thing, but I've got a young academic who's doing a PhD. He's experiencing racism from his supervisors and he's struggling to maintain his contact with his PhD. The male supervisors are just trying to wipe him out so he leaves, basically. So my solution with him and his solution that he asked me was to set up a support system so that he could contact other young academics and other academics in the situation he was in. And my solution, in addition to what Margaret and I were talking about, is to document the abuses of power that he's experiencing and make sure that they are very clearly expressed and explained in the environment he's in. Yes.
I'm going to put a time signal here because you said your solution, and actually I want you guys now in the question, but your question is a good question, right? So our user Peter needs a way to, what was the question that I heard? So we'll give the context. Our user Peter is suffering from, is experiencing the effects of racism in academia.
And elitism.
Oh, okay, elitism.
Yeah.
In academia that are excluding him from collaboration, maybe.
From completion, it's survival. It's really bad.
Okay, survival. Collaboration. I'll add some other things, but the issue is that Peter can't thrive in this environment. And so now we go into our question, how might we support Peter to be able to thrive while completing his program, all right? And then it could be that you're gonna think, how might we support him in, yes, let me copy what Margaret put in here. Peter needs a way to thrive as an academic because of institutionalized racism and elitism at his university or in the academic system in general. So now we have something really focused. And even though we started off with Peter, any policy that we create, many more people are going to benefit from this policy. Okay, so it's us focusing on one person to uncover the issues, and then we create this statement that's a little bit more generalizable. And let's hear from the other group. Alison, what did we come up with for the statement around Alison? Marina and company. Do we have anything around Alison?
I'm afraid we were also working on
Peter.
Oh, okay.
Reason? but it might be interesting to
stepping up.
Yes, that's fine. Okay. And that's interesting, again, to see how things funnel down. We started off talking about SDGs and all that, and we're now all focused on this one issue around Peter and thriving in academia. Okay, so now we're going to go into breakout rooms. I'm asking you this question now. What could your solution look like as a law or a policy? Now, if we were in a different setting, I might also ask you about what might it look like as an app, as an organization, an institution, a collective. So if you want to take it that direction, you can, but I'm asking you in the next 7 minutes, I think I said 10 and I'm going to change it to 7. In the next 7 minutes, come up with as many ideas as possible. Don't overthink anything. As you talk, put your post-it notes down, and we're going to do this for competition and bragging rights. Let's see how many groups, which group is going to come out with the most ideas. And actually, it doesn't matter. The size of the group doesn't matter. You both are, even small groups can come up with many, many ideas. Okay, so you're going to go in, come up with as many ideas as possible. One tip is you don't actually have to talk through each idea. You can be just putting them down. You could be looking at what other people are putting down, and you can build on what other people have said, right? So it can be together, it can be apart. You're just trying to get as many ideas on the board so that you can win the competition, okay? So 7 minutes, Alyssa, you could put, and I think we may have changed the number of people again. See if you can get us into 2 rooms that are still fairly equal. Julia, you should see an accept button. But actually, maybe I should join Julia's room because Margaret dropped out. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I can't. Okay, join. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Alyssa, I'm going to say that you could bring them back.
Bring them back? Okay.
Yes.
All righty.
They probably will be saying, but we don't have enough time. Julia was on fire. Julia was just spitting out the ideas.
I've had a long time to think about these problems. I nearly failed my PhD, and I've seen dozens of people from different backgrounds nearly fail theirs.
Yes.
He's not the first person who's cried on me. That's the point, and that's what I said to him. Actually, this is not you. This is not you.
It's a system.
You are good. You are doing fine. Hang on in there. This is them.
Yeah. I'm just so thankful that I did my PhD in a really, really supportive environment. My advisor, I had a committee, like you mentioned, and then the chair of my committee was always supportive and always used language that I always heard, you can do anything, and it just changed my PhD experience.
Yeah. That's really,
I know that. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So that will work then. That does work.
Yes, it does work.
Excellent. That's good.
So Julia and I had a really, really fantastic session. Julia was on fire with lots and lots of ideas. And then Julia actually kind of rapped me on the knuckles and she says, I don't need to compete like this, because I said, well, Julia, you're winning. And she says, no, we're not into competition like this. Let's talk about facilitative environments. And I thought, yes, let me back down. And that was wonderful, Julia. Yes, and a good reminder for me as well. Where I am, people respond to competition. So I have to do things like that and say, well, you have bragging rights and all that. However, despite all of that, Julia did win because we came up with...
Because you did all the hard work of writing it down and getting it
That's all I did. I wrote it down. But Julia came up with a lot of ideas. So we are 10 minutes to the end. What I'm going to ask you to do is to look around at everything that's there on the screen. I'm going to share again if you need me to share, but you can look at it on your screen. And I want you to vote by, maybe you can have 3 votes. I'll be generous. 3 votes might skew things. Pull the dot across to the one that you like, or you can put in your chat, what are the ideas that you really liked? So I guess our conversations were a little bit different. So I see in the first part, we were talking about goal setting and freedom and having a safety net and making sure he believes that he has the right. And so that's an interesting way of working. And then here in the bottom, we were talking about support group of other students joining the union, recognizing that unions also have equity issues, so maybe creating more equitable unions, documenting abuses of power, moving from academics, from an individual supervisor to a team, committee of supervisors, having the students have an independent mentor selected by the students, having a non-competitive PhD support group, having a second personal advisor, even from another university, and creating more supportive and less competitive structures. So I'm giving you each, let's say 3 votes, and you can just say, well, okay, you can put all of your votes behind one idea, you can spread your votes around. This is literally going to be 1 minute, 2 minutes, where you're going to, we'll see where you've put your votes. And then that's the idea or policy that we're going to move forward with for the next step, which is almost, we're nearly done, and we'll finish on time, believe it or not. So I'm going to put on my thinking music again. That was our 1 minute thinking song. And actually I am seeing, we do have, we have one policy that's getting a lot of votes. Let's see, what do we have? Because we have 1 vote here, 1 vote here, 1 vote here. Let's see. I'm giving you a half a second to think if you want to add another vote anywhere. Oh, there, now we have a tie too. Oh no, we don't. Okay, so have PhD students supported by teams of academics to shift power. It seems like that's the one that we've put most of our votes on. And so I'm going to talk through a little bit of the next steps. This is where, again, this is really actually how the design thinking process goes. Some people do it over a longer period of time. Like there are a lot of 5-day sprints, maybe like a whole day sprint. No one can do these anymore on Zoom, the whole day sprints, but that's what I might have taken like university management people through this kind of activity where we came out on the other end with some policies and some different levels of solutions. So we've only done this in 19 minutes, but this, Fiona said she couldn't move the dots. Were you able to vote though, Fiona? We could add you, we can add your vote.
Yes, I can't open the lists up either. It doesn't respond. I can see them in the distance and I can see little purple dots. I can't see it. It's not moving. My thing. Thank you. Now I can see it. Okay.
Yes.
I think I would put non-competitive PhD support is really important.
Yes.
I think that helps people a lot. And I would also put, because he's been bullied, documentation of abuses of power. That if nothing else, it unburdens him, and he has a way of having evidence just for himself, and if he ever needed it, it's speaking to the power. It's taking a small voice to the power and saying, look, let me show you what you're doing. This is not okay. So I think that's quite powerful too. Thank you.
Yes, I think that we got some really interesting ideas. And so can you imagine then doing a design thinking workshop with 50 people or 70 people or something like that? It means that you really get to explore issues in many different ways, and you leave you leave with a portfolio of ideas that you can then take forward and start prototyping. Because what should happen next is that the university administration, if we did this in a university, would say, well, okay, we actually have 1, 2, 3 ideas that got a lot of support. And then we have these other 2 that people were interested in. And then let's start trying things out, because that's what we want to do in this design thinking mindset. We just want to try things out. You know, they don't have to be perfect, but we'll try it out. And then based on what we've tried, we decide, okay, what's the action that becomes permanent, okay? And so this is a way that we could be trying to develop laws, trying to co-create public policies, trying to co-create public solutions to general issues. And yeah, I enjoy doing this kind of work. It's very collaborative, and
I just want to thank you, because I think I could, if I took this to the university and I said to them, look, we just need to change how we do PhDs. We just need to, the point up here, higher up, about more choice, more freedom, more autonomy. We need to restructure the way people do PhDs. We all know this stuff. If you've had the misfortune of going through this system, you know how difficult.
How toxic, yes.
Yeah. So I just thought, and I could, I could say to them, well, maybe we should get the PhD students together and ask them. And the ones
exactly, because that's the thing about these kinds of workshops. You can get people from a lot of different places. So you can have a mixed group. You have students, you have professors, you have parents, mix it, and then you can collect ideas from everybody. So it changes the power in who comes up with the ideas. It distributes it a little bit more, and then it gives the administration some inspiration that maybe they didn't have as well. All right. So we're on our last minute. If you want to unmute your mic and say something, you can. This last comment, but it was like, I wish, I wonder. If you want to, very often we end these design thinking workshops like that, where we just ask people, what was one thing that you liked? One thing that you wish, and wish could be, I wish we had more time. That's what people always say. And more time doesn't help us. And then I wonder might be, I wonder how I'll use this in real life, or something like that. So if you want to unmute and give some feedback, you can talk about how this maybe can apply in your real lives. You can, and there's no pressure to say anything, actually. No?
Hi, can I say something?
Yes, you can.
I wonder, Leanne, if in the future, in collaboration with Future Law, we could invite you to do one of these programs with a group of our Earth champions in another country, but we could do it by Zoom. Yeah. Maybe, I'm just wondering, maybe someday, is that possible?
Yes,
maybe.
It is possible. For me, your group would have to educate me a little bit on how to create a problem statement that makes sense. Every time I work with people who are in the environment, I actually have a little bit of a struggle because I'm a bit of an anthropologist. So I'm very people focused. And then even when I talk about the environment, I'm talking about people. And then sometimes my colleagues say, no, but the environment has more rights than the people, right?
No, I actually agree with you, because it's the people that create the change around them.
Yes.
And we're terribly interested in the people's stories about why they do things. So that's why. So yes, I totally agree. Thank you. It's just a possibility. Thank you so much. It was very inspiring and very democratic. Thank you.
It is very democratic.
Yes.
I'm going to very quickly put my LinkedIn, if I can find it, my LinkedIn connection in the chat. And Fiona, I tried to find you and I couldn't. So if you find me, that would be great. If any of you want to connect, I'd be happy to connect. And I know Alyssa wants to move us to the next activity.
Can you just add something?
Yes.
This is just what I wanted to say is that can we somehow connect with each other, outside of this call, because we have shared some thoughts here and then we want to reconnect. It's harder to do that.
Yes, so that's why I've put my LinkedIn connection here. So if people want to connect with me, they can. I'm also very responsive on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Mama Azure. And I'll put in my email address, but actually I'm least reliable on email. And I'd love to connect with everyone. And then Alyssa, you know who the participants in the room are, maybe?
We don't have individuals, but if everybody puts their information in the chat, that's a great way for us to collect it.
Yes. Okay. And then what I can do afterwards is actually send out the mural as a PDF. Now it's going to be a huge, unmanageable document, but I actually do use them after meetings, to look at the pictures and all that. So like Julia, you could show people.
I would love to be able to do that. I just so admire you. I just think that I have never seen anything as wonderful as that. I just love it. I've got to learn how to do that.
Yeah, and it's really like pandemic. It became more used after the pandemic. We work like this normally in person, in the same room, but Mural and Miro, which is another platform, made it very easy for people to collaborate remotely during the pandemic.
Oh, that's
it is, yeah. I'm just writing down everybody's name so I could figure out how to get back to you. Okay, and Marina. All right, so I'm going to reach out to you probably via either via the organizers or via LinkedIn to send you a copy of this mural later on.
Okay.
All right.
That's beautiful. Lesley, and we really that was such an amazing play shop and a design sprint. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, thank you.
and great on time. So everybody just, virtual high fives and, now that, everybody's signing now, virtual hand clapping
Yes.
for Dr. Lesley and Noel, who is the Associate Director of the Phyllis M. Taylor Center for Social Innovation and Design Thinking and Professor of Practice at Tulane University.
That's great.
Thank you ever so much, guys. It's the last, can you believe it is the last day of the Future Law Virtual Summit 2020.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
This has been incredible and continues to be incredible. If you are able, join us on stage 1, where the collaborative journey is about to begin just click the link that's in the chat and you'll go directly there. And for now, see you in another play shop or in another session. But for now, from stage 4, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 All right, I think I collected everything. Okay, so I guess I'll hop off. Fiona, it was so nice to be in a few sessions with you. And Alyssa, it was nice to see you again.
Same here, same here. Really lovely to see you. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to see all the work you're doing in the world. It's great.
Trying.
You're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it.
Yes. All right, so I'm hopping off.
All right,
Okay.
bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.